What if a modern aircraft carrier fought in World War I? The year is 1916. The First World War rages across Europe. Trenches choke the Western Front. At sea, the great navies of Britain and Germany clash in the Battle of Jutland. Dreadnoughts thunder with heavy guns, each a steel fortress. But what if, in the middle of this industrial war, something from the future appeared? Not a battleship, not a cruiser, but a modern nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, bristling with F-35 fighter jets, radar, guided missiles, and strike power beyond imagination. Would this single ship end the war overnight? Or would the Great War adapt to face a god of the seas? In 1916, the oceans were ruled by battleships, vast dreadnoughts with rows of massive guns. Britain's Royal Navy held superiority, but Germany's high seas fleet threatened balance. Control of the sea meant control of supply lines, colonies, and the war itself. Into this world sails a modern carrier, 1,100 feet long, a floating city. Nuclear reactors hum beneath decks, giving it endless range. On deck sits 70 aircraft, wings folded, engines quiet. To 1916 sailors, it is not a ship, it is a leviathan. British lookouts spot it first. God's own fortress, one whispers. The Admiralty sends signals. What nation built this ship? No flag can explain it. When German cruisers probe near, the carrier responds. F-35s launch with deafening roars, climbing higher and faster than anything 1916 men have seen. Seconds later, precision missiles slam into the cruisers, detonating with apocalyptic force. The sea boils with fire. Survivors babble of dragons of steel. The Great War has biplanes, flimsy wooden craft with fabric wings, slow machine guns, limited range. Against jets, they are insects before hawks. F-35s strafe trenches with smart bombs, flatten artillery emplacements, tear supply trains apart. Soldiers who once feared zeppelins now see thunder fall from invisible heights. Dreadnoughts that once ruled seas are helpless. Their giant shells cannot reach jets. Carriers launch wave after wave. Missiles strike ships before they can aim a gun. Fleets that took decades to build vanish in minutes. German admiral says, "What is this ship? No steel resists it. No gun can strike it." British officer says, "It is the future, and it has chosen sides." The mere presence of the carrier paralyzes strategy. Armies dig deeper. Generals hesitate. Every march, every supply line, every ship risks annihilation from the sky. The carrier targets rail hubs. German reinforcements vanish in firestorms. Trenches collapse as precision strikes rain down. Morale shatters. Soldiers whisper that God fights for the Allies. German zeppelins, once terror weapons, burn instantly. Bombers never cross the channel again. The skies belong not to the Red Baron, but to stealth fighters no bullet can touch. The German high seas fleet sails one last time. They believe numbers might overwhelm. Instead, within hours, the North Sea is a graveyard of twisted steel. Admirals weep, their proud dreadnoughts gutted before they fire a shot. Yet modern power has chains. Missiles, bombs, and jet fuel are finite. Nuclear power keeps the ship afloat, but resupply does not exist in 1916. Each missile fired is one less forever. Each bomb dropped brings the end closer. Within weeks, the stockpiles shrink. Jets sit idle. The carrier becomes less a god and more a giant without fists. The Germans desperately adapt. They scatter troops, hide factories, dig deeper. They dream of sabotaging the ship in port, sending submarines swarming. U-boats, though obsolete against sonar, still lurk. A lucky torpedo could cripple the giant. Carrier captain says, "We can win battles, but not wars, not without supply." Allied general says, "Then we must strike now, before the future fades." If the carrier strikes fast, smashing German fleets, crippling armies, cutting supply lines, the war might end in 1916. millions of lives saved, a short, brutal finish to the Great War. But once the arsenal empties, the Allies still face the Central Powers on land. The war might continue, though shaken by the terror of modern firepower. Soldiers would write of demons in the sky, of ships that commanded oceans alone. Generals would scramble to study wreckage, to mimic technology they could not comprehend. The 20th century might leap decades forward in a rush to recreate the God ship. So what if a modern aircraft carrier fought in World War I? For weeks, it would dominate seas and skies, turning dreadnoughts into relics, armies into ash. It could shorten the war, or at least terrify a generation. But even gods of steel bow to time and logistics. The carrier's reign would be brief, but its shadow would stretch across history. What do you think? Would a single ship end the Great War, or simply change the story of its horror? Comment your answer and choose the next what-if battle.